Did you know that some brands of salts actually have preservatives and extra ingredients aside from the salt that we really don't need? And while salt is actually an approved ingredient on the carnivore diet, you can be making bad choices in that regard. Hello? Bacon salt. Salt made of bacon. It's more delicious, it's got a fatty component to you can get more protein, and it's more delicious, especially if you haven't incorporated herbs and other spices into your carnivore diet. Now, bacon salt is not difficult to make at all. It's really easy. You take cooked bacon, you grind it down, you bake it again, you can grind it down if you want, and it's gonna make just a plain unseasoned piece of meat really delicious. Let me show you how. I'm going to be baking my bacon today. I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 Celsius, but you don't have to bake yours. You can fry it or air fry it, whichever you prefer. However, after we do the first bake, grind it up and then bake it again, you're gonna need to either use your air fryer or your oven. So that's a consideration. The other question you might have is how much bacon would you need? Now, I have thick cut bacon. It's kind of thick to me. And this is 320 grams worth. However, you would use the amount of bacon that can fit your baking tray. So simply just place it onto your lined baking sheet if you want to line yours. And this is what mine looks like, and I'm gonna bake it for about 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, you can see how the bacon is very greasy, and also it's well cooked, but it's also reduced. You need to get this bacon dry. So I'm gonna grab a paper towel that hasn't gone in the sink and we are going to just pat that dry. Look at my down. Look at my down. You might want to let it cool a little, but not totally, because you want to absorb all that bacon grease into your paper towel. Once you have your bacon dry, you want to prepare your baking sheet again. So get rid of your greasy baking paper and reline it. Set that aside. Add your bacon to a blender. And now we're going to grind it down so it's fine like salt. And you can choose, like, do you want it to look a bit like rock salt, rough salt, or a fine salt? Okay, and it's gonna look a bit like this. And I wanna do a double bake, so of course we're going to bake it again. You'll notice that as you remove it from your blender, it's still a little bit greasy, so it's gonna clump together and just feel wet. So I wanna dry this out a little bit more. Okay, you wanna flatten it and spread it, just so we have an even bake. And after 7 minutes, my bacon salt is actually ready. And you want to probably know how I can tell it's dark. So I'm judging here just by color. I've also just prepared my steak. I've just got it resting, because if you don't know, you need to let your steak rest so that all the juices can be contained in the meat. And I'll show you how this looks. It's nice and crunchy and still a little bit fatty, which is fine for carnivore. But look at that. If you have any pieces that are still big like this one, you can grind your bacon salt down again, but do let it cool first. And to store, you want to store it in the freezer, of course, because we're not going to use all this bacon and it is a meat product after all. At the start, you might recall that I said I used 320 grams of bacon. So the question then is, how much bacon salt would that amount make? And I have 80 grams worth of bacon salt. Time to season my meat. And there you have it. It's as easy as dehydrating bacon and grinding it up. I hope that this super simple recipe that is actually clean carnivore, and because bacon is flavorful, it gives you the taste of salt as well as a bacon flavor. You're going to enjoy your chicken and your steak much more. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and be well.